the family unit. For celebrities, it's supposed to be this, this shield, the one stable place when the whole world is watching you.
Exactly. But what happens when the pressure isn't coming from the outside?
Right. What if the chaos is internal, tearing through the family from the inside and hitting a father and his son at the exact same time?
When we see celebrity lives on camera, we expect a certain level of drama. But the sources we're looking at today, they describe something that goes way beyond a typical breakup.
This is a story about a brutal, overlapping series of relationship failures, all centered on Jeff Brazier and his son, Freddy.
And insiders have a name for it. They're calling this whole saga a shared, devastating year of family hell.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, presented in the style of StarScope Report. We don't just skim the headlines, we uncover the drama, the shakeups, and the scandals. We really get into the stories behind the fame.
And today we are unpacking the sources that detail these simultaneous breakdowns. We're talking about Jeff Brazier, who's 46, and his son, the influencer Freddy Brazier, who's 21.
We're tracing it all back to some really serious mental health struggles and some incredibly public family conflicts.
And the timing is really the core of the drama here.
It's just wild. Reports come out that Jeff has split from his wife, the PR guru Kate Dwyer.
And then almost immediately,
Like hours later.
news breaks that his son Freddy has split from his pregnant girlfriend, Holly Swinburn.
It just makes you wonder, right, is this a completely wild coincidence?
Or are these two huge, devastating separations linked by one single, overwhelming source of family trauma? That's what we need to untangle. And it starts with the marriage that Jeff Brazier said was all about stability.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Jeff and Kate's marriage, it was supposed to be the solid foundation. They got married in 2018.
After dating for years, and the whole narrative around them was this search for stability, especially after the trauma of Jeff losing Jade Goody.
But that stability was already cracked, wasn't it? This is actually their second split.
It is. They broke up back in late 2022 and then got back together about 7 months later.
And the sources back then were pretty clear about why. It was about lifestyle.
Total lifestyle clash. Kate was described as really sociable, loved going out, while Jeff was a complete homebird.
And that detail is so important. It established a fault line,
Right.
a marriage built on two totally different ideas of what home and calm even mean. It's vulnerable from the start.
Precisely. So when this new storm hit, those little differences became, impossible to reconcile.
And the recent signs of this final split were, you couldn't miss them.
Impossible to ignore. Jeff, who is so polished, he's on Good Morning Britain reporting from Iceland.
And his wedding ring is just gone, glaringly absent.
When your whole brand is about emotional honesty, a visual cue like that is basically a press release.
And the social media, of course, it backed it all up. Neither of them had posted about each other in months.
Kate's reaction was really telling. She went for this high-energy distraction.
Vegas, the U.S. Grand Prix, without Jeff.
And she posted all about it. A selfie with her wedding ring, very obviously replaced by another ring.
And the caption, possibly one of the best days of my life.
That doesn't sound like a casual trip. That sounds like a declaration of independence.
It really does. And then she posted that quote about 6 planets being in retrograde.
Right. That's why.
So relatable, but it also screams that she's in the middle of total chaos. Then she posts that Johnny Depp clip. Just, what the F was that?
You can feel the confusion. And meanwhile, Jeff is pushing the exact opposite narrative. He's all about control. Order.
He posts from his new home in the countryside. He's talking about an escape to find calm.
And he wrote, "We have to design the life we want."
The subtext is so clear. The life he wanted couldn't include that marriage anymore.
And we know it's final. Sources for The Sun confirmed Kate moved out a few weeks ago back to her old apartment. They said a really difficult year just exposed the weaknesses in their marriage.
And this is where it all connects back to the main source of that pressure.
Exactly. This wasn't just a slow drift. The sources are definitive. The collapse was a direct result of the difficulties and issues surrounding Jeff's son, Freddy.
The trauma Jeff was managing as a father became the weight that the marriage just couldn't hold anymore.
If you're following this and seeing how this kind of intense external stress can just tear apart a relationship, you need to stick with us.
We're about to get into Freddy's personal crisis, the emotional storm that really created all this pressure. So make sure you hit that subscribe button because you won't want to miss this next part.
Okay, so to really understand the pressure Jeff was under, you have to understand Freddy's background.
Freddy is 21. He's the son of Jeff and, of course, the late Jade Goody.
And he's been so open about his mental health. He was diagnosed with ADHD when he was just 10. This isn't a new problem. This is something Jeff has been managing for, over a decade.
And some of his admissions are just.
Yeah.
They're heartbreaking. He confessed he tried to end it all in 2023.
He called it a manic episode and then revealed he spent his 18th birthday inside a psychiatric ward.
Just let that sink in. Your son is in that level of crisis.
When a parent is dealing with that, it becomes your entire world. It takes everything you have. And in a blended family, that pressure didn't just stay general. It found a target.
It targeted Kate, the stepmother.
And we saw that rift go public in this just incredibly painful way.
The TikTok video. In June, Freddy posted a list of things he hates.
And right there on the list, so blunt, step-parents.
It wasn't just a throwaway line, though. He followed it up with something so raw.
He wrote, "I don't know how to love because I've never been loved."
That's just a devastating thing for a step-parent to see publicly.
It made her position completely untenable, right? She was supposed to be part of this stable home, but Freddy's trauma basically cast her as a villain.
She became a symbol of the family issues he was hating on.
But it gets even more intense. It wasn't just the personal rift. The whole family was caught up in this huge, drawn-out legal war.
Okay, this part is just wild. The main conflict, the thing that defined this year of hell, was Jeff's legal battle with Freddy's maternal grandmother, Jackie Budden.
And this wasn't a small disagreement. Jeff launched legal action to block his own son, an adult, from seeing his grandmother.
He claims she was a bad influence.
A very bad influence. I mean, Jeff's concern was her history with drug addiction.
And Jackie herself had admitted some really shocking things.
She admitted she taught Jade Goody how to roll cannabis cigarettes when Jade was just 5 years old.
5.
And she confessed to being a crackhead. So you can understand Jeff's fear for his vulnerable son.
But imagine trying to manage that. You're fighting a legal battle over your adult son with his own grandmother because of this deep intergenerational trauma.
The fallout was exactly what you'd expect. Freddy would have these secret feuds with his dad.
He'd storm out of the house.
And go straight to Jackie, the very person Jeff was legally trying to keep him away from.
Jeff eventually backed down from the legal action in August, but the damage was done.
Oh, completely. The sources are clear that the stress and, frankly, the cost of that fight had already created these irreparable cracks in the marriage. Kate was living through all of it.
So you have Freddy's public resentment, the legal war. It was the constant pressure that finally snapped the whole thing.
And the final piece of this whole collapse arrived in the most dramatic way possible.
Freddy's own relationship fell apart.
Almost at the exact same moment, his father's split went public. It's like a perfect, tragic mirror of the family's instability.
He split from his girlfriend, Holly Swinburn, who was pregnant.
Sources said they'd been arguing constantly, and, having a baby so young is a lot to deal with, especially in the middle of all that chaos.
There was even a detail about their final argument, that Holly tried to take their dog, Pablo.
So the collapse was total, even though Freddy has confirmed he's the father.
And just like his dad, Freddy's emotional state came through in his own posts.
He wrote that his relationships are falling apart, but the line that really hits you is his fear.
I'm scared to be a dad as I'm a broken man.
It's a direct echo of everything we've been talking about, the cyclical nature of all this trauma.
And this is where Jeff's professional life just collides with his personal reality.
Right. Jeff Brazier, the life coach. The guy who speaks about grief and emotional health for a living.
He even tried to use that persona, saying, "This was a moment to practice what I preach," by sharing his vulnerability.
But what he confessed next goes so much deeper than just a marriage ending. It was about his profound isolation.
He said he'd honestly never felt loneliness like it. The breakup, the move, all of it.
And it's compounded by his sons being adults now. They're both 21. They obviously have their own things going on.
Which leaves Jeff, in his own words, spending most of the time alone.
This isn't just about a divorce, it's a full-blown identity crisis.
For over a decade, his whole life was defined by being this intensive single parent, managing a tragedy. Now that role is gone. His marriage is gone, and there's just a void.
And the final step is selling the marital home. It's valued at $1.2 million, and it's on the market. He's chasing that calm he talked about.
But he has to find it completely on his own now, without any of the structures that used to define him.
If you appreciate this kind of deep dive into the psychology of celebrity families, don't miss what we uncover next. Hit that subscribe button so you always get the full story.
So when you put all the sources together, the picture is incredibly clear.
Jeff and Kate's marriage, it could handle internal problems, like their first split over lifestyles. They recovered from that.
But it could not withstand the external pressure.
Absolutely not. The unrelenting crisis around Freddy, the bitter legal fight, that was just too much.
The Brazier family story is just this powerful case study. It shows that if you build something on top of unresolved trauma, it's always going to be vulnerable.
And that year of hell just exposed every single weakness until the whole thing gave way.
Jeff Brazier, the expert on grief, the life coach, admitting to this profound loneliness now that his sons are grown.
And that really leaves us with the big question for you to think about.
When your entire identity, your whole purpose, is built around crisis management and intensive parenting, what happens to you when that role just fades away?
Jeff's next chapter isn't just about getting over a breakup. It's about figuring out who he is now, without the two things that defined him for so long.
You've been listening to The Deep Dive, presented by StarScope Report, where we uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture.
Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.